Oh, okay. Okay. We continue on the research problem. Okay.
Yes, yes, doctor.
Okay. So, what is research problem? Okay. The term problem is that question or issue to be examined. Okay. So, research problems refer to some difficulty or needs which a research experience in the context of either theoretical or practical situation and wants to obtain a solution for the same time. Okay. So, for every research, okay, so we need to have a section which we call as a problem statement. Okay, so it depends on what problem that you want to look, okay, and how you want to solve it. Okay, so as I told you previously, for example, for my case, I want to treat to improve the soft soil condition. Okay, so that's why I'm using the deep mixing method. Okay, and due to that time, okay, less of study has been made on a floating type. Okay, so because normally they use a end bearing, which is the saw, which is the column touch the hard layer, okay, or reach the hard layer. Okay, so for my case, I also focus on the end bearing, but at the same time I add on what we call as on the floating type. Okay, so because very less study at that time conduct on the floating type. Okay, so at least I contribute something to the knowledge. Okay, and it can be used, and it is more economical to be used compared to the other type of treatment. Okay, so yeah, how to address the problem? It should based on the review or journal that you has reviewed from the previous study. Okay. So how do, yeah, this is for example for a general what we call general view. Okay. Uh, how could we know we have a research problem? Okay. Yeah, for example for a shop, okay, for any service, they will that will be provided, okay, by the shop owner, okay. So it rely on the customer complaints, okay. So conversation with company employees, okay, observation of inappropriate behavior or condition in the firm, for example, okay, deviation from the business plan, success of the firm competitor, relevant reading of published material, okay, company records and report. Okay, so this is for a general, okay, how we could have or to identify the problems. Okay. So for us, it's more related to a reading. Okay, so the relevant reading of published material. Okay. Or for example, if you want to solve the problem for the practical problem when you have that kind of experience during your when you work as an engineer. Okay, so that will be a very good uh, way how you can uh, have research problems. Okay, so the first step in the research process, definition of the problem involved the activity. Okay, identification, selection of the problems, and then from there we formulation of the problems. Okay, we table out the problems. Okay, and try to solve the problems. Okay, so this step involve identification of a few problems, and selection of one of them. Okay, after evaluating the alternative against certain selection criteria. Okay, so source of problem. Okay, from reading, academic experience, daily experience, exposure to field situation, consultations, brainstorming, research. Okay, intuitions. Okay, so this is a part of how we can get uh, the research problems, and most for us is based on reading from the literature. Okay, so criteria of selection: the selection of one appropriate researchable problems out of the identification problem require evaluation of those alternatives against certain criteria. They are internal or personal criteria. Okay, researcher interest, researcher competence, researcher own resource, finance and time. Okay, so this is um based on our personal criteria. Okay, so the other one is based on external criteria or factor: researchability of the problem, important urgency, novelty of the problems, feasibility, facilities, okay, usefulness and social relevant research personnel. Okay. Formulation of research problem. Formulation is the process of refining the research idea into research question and objective. Formulations mean translating and transforming the selected research problem topic idea into a scientifically researchable question. So it is concerned with specifying exactly what the research problem is. Problem definition or problem statement is a clear, precise, okay, and succinct statement of the question or issue that is to be investigated with the goal of finding an answer or solution. Okay, so okay, that's why I already told you that we should have one section in our proposal or thesis, okay, or dissertation, okay, on the problem statement. Okay, so this problem statement will guide, for example, for the examiner, for the reader to know what actually uh, that you try to solve, okay, or try to propose. Okay. So process involved in defining the problem statement of the problem in a general way, okay, understanding the nature of the problem, surveying the available literature, developing either through discussion, rephrasing the research problems. Okay. So criteria of good research problem, it should be clear, okay, empirical, okay, we can measure it, okay, tangible, okay, verifiable, interesting, novel and original, okay, and availability of guidance. Okay, so yeah, when you do your review, when you prepare your digital review part, okay, so you need to find as many as you could for for the previous study. Okay, so let's say if you could not find any journal or any articles on your problems, most probably the problem is not very important or it could not be solved. Okay, or it's not very it's not really a relevant issue to be discussed. Okay, or maybe you use wrong keywords. Okay, so there will be uh, uh, that's why we cannot find a lot of uh, articles on that issue. Okay, criteria of good research problem system. Okay, symptom detection, analysis of situation, statement of the problems. Okay, problem definition. Okay, establishment of research objective. Okay, okay, the research objective are the specific component of the research problem that you will be working to answer or complete in order to answer the overall research problems. Okay, so you should have an objective for your study. Okay, So the objective also considered as a scope of your study. You only want to investigate on certain particular parameter only. Okay. So so if, for example, if the examiner or reader read your objective, so they know that what is your interest, okay, and what is your limitation. Okay. The objective refer to the question to be answered through the study. Okay, they indeed indicate what we are trying to get from the study or the expected result or outcome of the study. This objective should be clear and achievable as they directly assist in answering the research problems. Okay, so clear and could be measured, achievable. Okay, the objective may be specified in the form of either statement or question. Okay, so generally they are written as a statement using the word to. Okay, for example, to discover, to determine, to establish. Okay, so you need to discuss with your supervisor what is the good term to be used. Okay, so normally for laboratory testing, they're using the to determine, to establish. Okay, to investigate is very broad. It's not suitable to be used as a research objective. It's not very precise word to be used. Okay, because all of us has do the investigation. Okay. Okay, now we go for a hypothesis. Okay, so this hypothesis will guide you. Okay, and at the end, does your hypothesis has been supported with your finding. Okay, the hypothesis is an assumption about relation between variable. Okay, so as I told you, if we increase A, what will be happen with B? So that is your first hypothesis before you go deeply on your problems. Okay. So for example, if we increase the number of the cement in percentage, okay, the strength of the soil will be increased. Okay. So then you do the study and then you prove it. Okay. But the hypothesis should be rely on the what we call it on the actual uh, theory or literature previously. Okay. So hypothesis can be defined as logically conjectured relationship between two or more variables expressed in the form of a testable statement. Okay. Relationship are conjectured on the basis of the network uh, of association established in the theoretical framework formulated for the research study. So uh, so yeah, as I told you, it's rely on the variable that we want to investigate. Okay, so what happen if we increase A? What happen to B? Okay, so that is the guess that we should have in the hypothesis. Okay, anything that can be considered as a variable. Okay, so a variable is anything that can take on differing or varying values. Okay, so on the other hand, we call it as a parameter. Okay, so if you're familiar, you may heard about parametric study. Okay, so we change the parameter, okay, to look on what is the effect, okay, if we change several parameter in our end or our output result. Okay, for example, age, production unit, okay, okay, absenteeism, sex, motivation, income, height. Okay, the value can differ at various time for the same object or person at the same time for different object or person. Okay, so this is the use of the variable in the study. Okay, so a variable is a characteristic that takes on two or more value, whereas an attribute in a specific value on a variable or qualitative. Okay. For example, the variable set with gender has two attributes, male and female. The variable agreement has five attributes, strongly, agree, agree, neutral, disagree, strongly disagree. Okay, so this is normally for a social science study. Okay. For what we call it for engineering, yeah, for structure, for geotechnical, for hydraulic study. Okay, for material might be the parameter should be length, uh, what we stress, load, height. Okay, unit weight, soil properties, for example. So that is the variable or parameter. Okay, type of variable, explanatory versus extraneous variable. Okay. The variables selected for example are called explanatory. Okay, variable and other variable that are not related to the purpose of the study but may affect the dependent variable are extraneous. Okay, extraneous. So it means that it's not related but may affect. Okay, so very little effect on the uh, on the output. Okay. Dependent versus independent variable. The dependent that change, the variable that change in relation to change in the another variable is called dependent variable. The variable whose change result in the change in the another variable is called as independent. Okay, or independent variable is one that influence the dependent variable in either a positive or negative way. Okay. So means that we have an independent, then we have a dependent and independent. Okay. So for example, size. Okay. So if we change the size, the load will be different. Okay. So the size is dependent, and then the size is dependent, and the load is independent. Okay. So on this part, okay, so we may discuss on the importance of the variable. Okay. We call it as a dimensional analysis. Okay. So, okay. So you need to pay attention on this part. Okay, because you need to understand how this approach, okay, work, and it's very important if you do a laboratory test. Okay. So we call it as a dimensional analysis, or some of the textbooks call it as a Buckingham five theorems. Okay. So the dimensional analysis is a method for deducing elements of the form of a theoretical relationship from consideration of the variable and parameter they make up the relationship. Okay. So we want to get what is the important element. Okay. So we have discussed on the parameter previously, but we need to identify which is the important parameter, okay, that will contribute to the outcome or the output of the laboratory test, for example. Okay. So dimensional analysis of problem then leads to a reduction in number of variables that must be studied in order to understand the problems. Okay. So we should use this method, okay, in order to identify, okay, what is the most important parameter that we need to look uh, in detail. Okay, then from there we start to eliminate any other non-important parameter. Okay, the key is to create dimensionally homogeneous equation whose form does not depend on the unit or measurement. Okay, so the last idea, we want to come up with a dimensionless or they call as dimensionally homogeneous. Okay, so means that the form the equation doesn't have any units. Okay, for example, uh, if we have a width, normally we use term of B, okay, width of the any measurement, and also length. Okay, so in order to have a dimensionless equation, B should be divided with L. Okay, so B should be divided with L. Okay, so this is a dimensionless. Okay, so then later on I will explain why we should use this approach. Okay, or for example, if we have yeah, this is for load. Sorry, this is for stress. Okay, so if we have a stress, then we may multiply, for example, if a soil, we may divide with the soil strength, which also a stress. So this is considered as a dimensionless. Okay. Oh, so governing equation cannot just be plucked from the air. They must become from another like insight into the phenomenon that is being modeled. Okay. So means that it cannot easily be, yeah, we cannot just put everything, okay, then we consider this is the important parameter. Okay, actually it should come from the background of the of the equation of the output of the of or the equation or the parameter. Yeah, we should have a good understanding on the theory part. Okay. Okay. So the theory of dimensional analysis is encapsulated in Buckingham theorems. Okay, they call it Buckingham theorems or Buckingham phi theorem. State that if they are n variable, okay, they call it as an n variable. Okay, n is the number of the parameter in a problem, and this variable contain m primary dimension. Okay, so m primary dimension is called as MLT, mass, length, and time. The equation relating all the variable, we have n minus m dimensionless group. Okay, so means that the total of the groups, dimensional group that should be developed is between is n minus with m. For example, if the parameter is 5, okay, and the primary dimension in our case is 2, so we should have 3 dimensionless equation. Okay. Okay, I will show to you some of example. Okay, don't worry. Okay, so this is just explanation. Buckingham referred to this group as a 5 groups. Okay, where we have they call it as a Buckingham 5 groups. Okay, so the 5 group must be independent of each other, and no one group should be formed by multiplying together power of the other groups. Okay, so for example, if this is B, for example, if this B over L, okay, so then we could not use B of L over D. Okay, so this L has been used for the last equation unless if something cannot be divided with D, so we cannot have the last equation, so it could be used. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I will go for example. So they will be much more easy. Okay. This method offers the advantage of being more simple than the method of solving simultaneous equation for obtaining the value of the indice. Okay, so this is example for another approach. So this is much more easy. The exponent value of the variable. Okay. In this method of solving the equation, there are two conditions. Okay, so that is the rules. each of the fundamental dimension must be appear at least one of the n variable. Okay. It must not be possible to form a dimensionless group from one of the variable within a recurring set. Okay, so like example that I told you previously. Okay, a recurring set is a group of variable forming a dimensional group. Okay, fundamental quantities must be commonly employed based on Newton's second law. Okay, so it should be based on Newton's second law, which is F equal to ma. Okay, so for this F, there will be M and A, okay, which is considered as a primary dimension. Okay, so force equal to change of moment over time, so momentum equal to mass time velocity, and acceleration is equal to velocity over time. Okay, therefore force equal to mass times acceleration. Okay. So then we try to express the primary dimension. So this we call as a force, okay. And then we have m, which is mass, and then we have l, which is the length, okay. Then on the length we have t power by -2, okay, because this is actually from a acceleration, okay. So actually we have 4 primary dimension. Okay, however, okay, due to the F, M, N is a dynamic, okay, so they consider F is actually could be represented as M, okay. So L is equal to geometry, T is equal to kinematic, while F or M is equal to dynamics. Okay. So the choice of this quantity depend upon the measuring system. Okay, for example, if I'm using the MLT, we referring to SI system, or if I'm using the FLT, we referring to British system. Okay. So how, okay, this is a suggestion by the author. Okay, however, in this work, since mass is the fundamental physical quantity, the latter are employed in deriving the dimensionless equation, the value of the equation. Okay, but for me, especially in geotechnics, okay, so I prefer to use FLT rather than MLT. Okay, selection of a relevant independent parameter can be quite difficult. The resolution of related problem requires sufficient experience. Okay, so yeah, you need to first you need to familiarize with the equation or the theory. Okay, from there you can work, okay, to produce the dimensionless approach or equation. Dimensional analysis associated with Buckingham-Phi theorem provide useful hint in determining the various factors that involved in the analysis and the relevant data to be collected. Okay, so I will show you one of several examples, okay, how to use the what we call as this dimensionless equation. Okay. Okay, for example, this is example for slope in cohesive soil. Okay, because the book that I refer is more on geotechnical problems. Okay, so for the slope in cohesive soil, the parameter that uh, govern, okay, in this problem, okay, we have here Cu, which is Andrean shear strength, unit width, phi value, we have height, and then we have the depth, okay, value, the depth parameter. Okay, so and the last one, this is the input. Okay, and for the slope stability, okay, the output is the factor safety. Okay, because tau, which is stress, divide with the shear strength, also stress. Okay, so there will be no unit. So this is factor safety. So in this case, by including the output, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 parameter, okay, which is input and output, okay. Then for each parameter, okay, we try to get what is the primary dimension based on F, L, T. Okay. So for the factor safety, it doesn't have any unit, so we consider as a 1. Okay. Then we have H here. H is the length, so we we need to put L. Okay. While for the degree, it doesn't have any units, so we consider as a 1. Okay. For the undrained shear strength of the soil, okay, so we use F, which is the force, over L over 2, okay, so we get FL power by -2. Okay. So for the unit weight, okay, the unit is kilonewton per meter cube, okay. So then we write down as FL power by -3. And the last one is the depth. We use as a L. Okay. So for the number of M, we will have two primary dimension because the maximum we can go up to 3. Okay. In this case, we only have F and also L. So we already have L, okay, and then we have F. So please do not count this as the next number. Okay, so the maximum could go to 3. Okay, the minimum could go to 1. Okay, so in this case we have F and L. Okay, later on to uh, to develop the primary dimension, to develop the dimensionless equation. So n should be minus with n. So in this case, 6 minus with 2, we should have 4 dimensionless equation. Okay. So to develop this dimensional equation, okay, first we list the dimensionless equation, which is the Fs and theta. Okay. So we already use Fs and then we already use theta. So the balance is H, Cu, gamma, and D. Okay. So the easy way is to use D and H. So we already have D over H. Okay. So what we have left now is Cu and unit weight. Okay. So for example, if Cu divide with unit weight, okay, we will not have a dimensionless equation unless if we use either H or D. Okay, so in that case, it is allowed to use any other parameter in order to have to complete all the dimensionless equation. So it depends on what interest that you want to investigate. Okay, for example, for this case, this author want to investigate the height of the slope. Okay, so he include Cu over unit weight times H. So he has used all the parameter, okay, and then come up with the last equation. Okay. So what is the importance of this approach? Okay, we call this as a Taylor design chart. Okay, Taylor design chart for slope stability. Okay, so in this Taylor, we can investigate or we can determine what is the factor safety. Okay, for any other slope. Okay, which is less than 53 degree. Okay, so yeah, and I will not discuss in detail how to use this chart. Okay, but the idea is Taylor has used this approach. Okay, and produced this design chart. Okay, so it means that logic, yeah, the gist of the methods. Okay, if we are using, if we testing on different size of slope with a different value of soil properties, okay, so we can make use of this Taylor design chart. Okay, so this Taylor design chart we can consider as a universal approach because it can be used on whatever geometry of the slope, okay, with a limitation of 53 degree, and also whatever soil properties. Okay, so this is how could we make use of this dimensionless equations. Okay, so the other example is on the four cone methods. Okay, the four cone use a quick measure of undrained strength in the laboratory. Okay, so this method also could be used to determine the liquid limit. Okay, so at the same time we can measure the undrained strength in the soil. Okay, so what is the important parameter for these four cone methods? Okay, we have the D, which is the depth. Okay, after the soil penetrate inside the cone penetrate inside the soil. Okay, so then we have alpha. Alpha is the apex angle. Okay, the what we call the cone angle. Okay, then we have a Cu, which is the undrained shear strength, and then M has been converted to weight. Means that M is the mass multiplied with the gravity. Okay, over 10. Okay, then we obtain W. Okay, so then we have four parameter. Okay, for each parameter, we try to derive the primary dimension. Then we have two primary dimension. N minus M, we should have two dimensionless equation. Okay, so for this case, alpha is a dimensionless. Okay, so we already have one, and then we should use all three, okay, and come up with one single equation. So the result is Cu times d square over W. Okay, so this approach has been used by Wright and Wood, okay, from Oxford, okay, to come up with estimation of Falcon method to obtain the plastic limit value of the soil. Okay, so another typical equation is on bearing capacity. Okay, so this equation has been popular used or developed or proposed by Terzaghi or Meyerhoff. Okay, so we have n number of 7. Okay, Pu is the output. Okay, which is the load, max ultimate load. Then we have length B, D, Cu, phi, and also gamma. Okay, so for each parameter, okay, derive the primary dimension. Okay, the number of the primary dimension is equal to 2. Okay, 7 minus with 2 is equal to 5. Okay, from there we have five five dimensionless equations. Okay. So the last one is for a vertical cut. Okay, when we want to do a cutting, okay, or to check the stability, okay, uh, for doing a cutting under a vertical slope. Okay, so the number of the parameter is 5, where the output is vector safety. Okay, while the other is the alpha is the slope degree, unit width, CU, and also H. So then we get the primary dimension, and the total of the what we call as of the dimensionless should be 3. Okay, where we use vector safety, alpha, and the rest is from the the rest parameter. Okay. Okay. So you can make use on the primary dimension, sorry, the dimensional analysis. Okay. Okay. In order for you to get what is the influence parameter. Okay. And then you can come up with what we call as a dimensionless chart. Okay. Because some of your testing, might be you test on a very limited uh, length or limited size of area. Okay, so in order for another researcher to make use of your testing, so it's better for you to come up with a dimensionless approach. Okay, so because dimensionless approach doesn't have any units, so it may not be constrained with your small or your small area when you did your research. Okay. Okay. So that is for the dimensionless analysis. Okay. Now we move on the hypothesis. Okay. Research hypothesis is a predictive statement that relates an independent variable to a dependent variable. Hypothesis must contain at least one independent variable and one dependent variable. Okay, so it should be related or non-related, but it should have one dependent and one independent. So hypothesis are tentative intelligent guesses as to the solution of the problems. Okay, hypothesis is specific statement of prediction. It describes in concrete terms that you expect to happen in the study. Okay. So hypothesis assumption about the population of the study, it delimits the area of the research and keep the researcher on the right track. Okay. So yeah, in your thesis, some of the thesis has put an hypothesis on the introduction part. So you can add your own hypothesis. Okay. Um, or you can do your testing and then at the later on you can put your hypothesis. So that will be another way. Okay. Hypothesis assumption that can be tested and can be proved to be wrong or right. Okay. A problem is a broad question which cannot be directly tested. A problem can be scientifically investigated after converting it into form of hypothesis. Okay. Hypothesis is not been proved yet. Once it's been proved, and then it can become a theory. Yeah, but not in the from your from your single study, not be from the other researcher as well. Okay. So characteristic of hypothesis, conceptual clarity, it should be clear and precise. Specificity, it should be specified and limited in scope. Consistency, it should be consistent with the objective of research. Testability should be capable of being tested. Expectancy should be state the expected relations between variable. Simplicity should be stated as far as possible in simple terms. Objectivity, it should be not include value judgment, relative term or any moral preaching. Theoretical relevance, it should be consistent with a substantial body of established or known fact of existing theory. Okay? So it should be relevant and should be rely on the theory. Availability of technique, statistical method should be available for testing the proposed hypothesis. Okay. So source of hypothesis. Okay, so this is source that we can get. Okay, to derive the hypothesis. Okay, discussion, okay, examination, review of similar study, exploratory, personal investigation, observation, logical deduction from existing theory, continuity of research, intuitions, and personal experience. Okay, type of hypothesis. So we have a descriptive hypothesis, relational hypothesis. Okay, so this is much more on characteristic. Okay, relational. Okay, relation between two variable. Okay, family with higher income spend more for recreation. Okay, so we have their income and then recreation. Okay. Okay, causal hypothesis state that existence of or change in one variable cause or lead to effect on another variable. The first variable is called the independent variable and the latter is called dependent variable. Okay. So null hypothesis, when a hypothesis is stated negatively, it can call null hypothesis. It is a no difference or no relation hypothesis. Okay, there is no relation between family income and expenditure on recreation. So we call it a null hypothesis. So we have alternate hypothesis. Okay, there is a definite relation between family income and expenditure on relation. Okay. Okay, then we go for form of relation. Okay, relationship non-directional versus directional. Okay, so this is when we have two parameters. So if we increase x, what will be to y? Okay, so that is directional and non-directional. There is a relationship between x and y. Okay. If x change, then y will increase. Okay, the causal link. Okay, so y is depends on x, while x is independent. Okay. If x increase, y increase, a positive. Okay. If x increase, y decrease, we call as a negative. If x change, y doesn't change, it's called a non-relationship. Okay, so this is a positive change, while this is a negative change. Okay, function of rule of hypothesis, it gives a definite points to the investigation and provide direction to the study. It determines data needs. Okay. It specifies the source of data. It suggests what type of research is likely to be more appropriate. It determines the most appropriate technique of analysis. It contributes to the development of theory. Okay. Okay. So, I guess we should end our class for today. Okay. I will continue this part on the next lecture, and then there will be another part on the formulating problems. Okay. So, if you have any problems, you can personally text me, and I will share the content in this video once I have get the link from the WebEx. Okay. So that's all for today. Okay. So we will meet next week. Okay. So please make sure that you scan for the QR code for your attendance. Okay. So with that, I end my lecture. So we meet next week. Okay. Assalamualaikum and good afternoon.
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay. Bye.